losing 1-0 to Stockport, does it matter at all? Surely it's important that we win as many of the pre-season games.
These Coventry players are going to be coming back from playing at these big grounds, these big teams, and beating Everton 3-0, I'll say as well. Whereas Stoke are going to go into the game against Coventry, but we've just beaten Crewe and Chester. Interesting to see if Sam Gallagher's got what it takes. On current stats from last season, probably not.
We've seen him playing today, banged in a goal, first Stoke City goal on the pitch. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Stoke Fan TV with myself, Max.
And me, Sam.
And Sam. And in today's episode, we've been down to the Stoke City ground because there's been an open training session. So we've got that to talk about. We've got our new signing to talk about.
Yep.
We've got whether pre-season friendlies matter, whether, you know, we've asked the fans, what have you had to say? Anyway, we're going to get beeped because we're outside and all the people are coming past. But we did ask you on Facebook what you thought to pre-season games, whether they were pointless, whether they mattered, you know, whether all these results and everything we've been having against these teams mean anything. So we're going to get into that very shortly. But the reason we're this side of the ground is we were that side of the ground. We walked round to the new fan zone, but it's still kind of in progress. And I think they're doing some sort of launch event,
yes,
aren't they? So we were told well, we weren't told, but we got the distinct impression that we weren't allowed to really be in that area doing any kind of filming. So we thought we better not take the mickey. We'll come round to this side of the ground. And we're being joined today by the legendary Gordon Banks in the background. Anyway, so excuse the traffic noise, but hopefully we'll still get a decent shot of it.
I will say the fan zone, though, is looking really good.
Absolutely. And another thing, a shout out to all those who liked and subscribed in the last video. Thank you for liking and subscribing. If you're watching this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because in the last video, when we asked for those likes and subscriptions, it made a world of difference. So please just pause the video, hit like, hit subscribe, and then carry on watching. Right, where should we start? I think we should start with our new signing.
Well, yeah, Sam Gallagher.
We've seen him playing today.
We've seen him come on and have a kick about on the pitch.
Banged in a goal, first Stoke City goal on the pitch, albeit in training. He looks like, my first impressions are, Sam, he looks like quite a big, tall player and a big presence.
As soon as he walked out, I thought he had a similar physique to Stephen Fletcher.
Right.
So quite tall,
yeah,
bit of meat on him.
Bit of meat on him.
I reckon he'd be able to get past them defenders. We'll have to see, won't we?
Well, here's the thing. So in terms of stats for Sam Gallagher, he's played 24 games.
Last season.
Yeah. And he's scored 3 and he's assisted 3.
Yes.
Which, believe it or not, is the same stats as Ryan May.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so he's come from Blackburn. Now, Blackburn, am I right in saying, kind of play with 2 up top?
Yeah, I think Blackburn plays a 3-5-2 sort of formation.
Right, okay.
So yeah.
How is he going to fit into this current team?
It'll be interesting to see if Stephen Schumacher changes the current system to work around Gallagher, or if he sticks with what he's been doing before. But over the pre-season games, as I've been watching against Crewe and Bolton and Chester, he's been playing with more of a cam.
Right, okay, yeah.
So it might suit Gallagher more, because obviously playing with Blackburn with that Sammy Smodics in cam, we'll see.
Well, he banged in a few goals for Blackburn, didn't he? That Sammy lad. And maybe having Gallagher in the Stoke team can bring in other players around him.
Yes.
Do you think that we have enough strikers in this current Stoke team?
No. I think Nathan Lowe and Taz Gallagher definitely need to go out on loan again this season.
Yeah.
Leaving us with May, Ennis and Gallagher. I don't particularly think Ennis has got what it takes really to be the main striker. Interesting to see if Sam Gallagher's got what it takes. On current stats from last season, probably not, but it is his worst season in about 6. 2016-2017 season, he was on loan at Blackburn and had 12 goals in a season.
Right, okay.
So he has been known to get more goals in a season, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get that form back at Stoke.
Okay, well I think we've got some more stats on him. Let me just grab my my phone and find out a little bit more. Right, so a bit of more of a breakdown about Sam Gallagher and a few more of his stats. As we said, he's played 24, he's got 3 goals, he's got 3 assists, but what other things has he done? Well, let's go down to his shots taken. So according to this stats website, 26 shots total, on target 12.
Not too bad.
All right. Okay, his shot accuracy is at 46%, sort of thing.
Not that bad really, considering
No.
Stoke's shot accuracy is probably lower than that.
And go down to assists and passing. I mean, he's had, out of 279 passes, 123 successful passes. I mean, is he that kind of player that's going to try and maybe
He's
bring
a
other players?
striker.
Is he a false nine kind of striker? Is he somebody that's going to drop back?
I'm hoping that he can be the guy that receives the long balls that we've needed someone to receive for so long, that can nod it down to one of the faster players that can run onto it. If he can do that, then that makes him a good player, in my opinion, in the team, regardless of if he's scoring. If he's nodding the ball down and keeping that ball that's in the air and keeping it on the pitch and keeping it in Stoke's possession,
Yeah.
I can see that being quite a good asset to the team, really, because we haven't got anyone that can win the headers up front.
What do you think to this new signing, Stoke fans? I mean, do you rate him? Have you watched him play at Blackburn? Let us know in the comments. Ping him in. Let us know, and have a discussion about it. Is he the player we've been after? Do we need more strikers? Where's he going to fit in to this current team? How do you think Shuey will use him? We're interested to get your thoughts. So obviously it is open training today. There's a ton of traffic, hence the noise. But at the same time, we've been watching in there. And what did you make to some of the stuff we saw?
I think they were doing very complicated training routines, I noticed. I couldn't figure out what they were trying to do in that match they were trying to do. I couldn't work it out.
Did you get a bit confused?
Yeah, to be fair.
You hadn't
but
had
I'm
a beer
not,
today, that's
no,
the problem.
I'm not
the
a
bar was shut.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a footballer. I don't do these routines day in, day out. I didn't understand. We had 3 different teams on the same pitch with different coloured bibs on, and I didn't understand it. But if that's what we do, and if it works, then that's what it is.
It wasn't Tony Pulis training, was it? It wasn't 11v11.
No, it was a bit more complex.
Yeah, but we saw there was a rumour, I think, about Beijing Ho.
Yeah.
We saw him today.
He come out,
but he wasn't training.
Wasn't training.
He seemed like he limped out, so maybe he's nursing an injury. We've had some other rumours, haven't we? Larice, there was a rumour about Larice. Well, he was there training today.
Laurent.
Josh Laurent. So all the players, as far as we could tell, were there today and training.
And there was a few that I didn't recognise as well on the pitch, and I still haven't worked out who they were.
If you were there today and you know all the players that were playing, will you let us know? Because there were some players, as I say, that Sam and I didn't quite recognise.
I think there must have been academy players.
Maybe. You know what? It doesn't matter if you're good enough to play for the first team.
Exactly.
And that's my argument in a way for Tezgal, because I am thinking, I'm not sure he will go back out on loan. I think that Shuey might want him to play a role in the squad for
We'll
this season.
see. I'll give a mention as well. I quite liked how they did. They announced the new players at the start of the session, and one by one they come out, and Jonty give a call out for them on the PA. I thought that was great. I
was just about to say that. They introduced all the new players. They all come out through the tunnel
after the existing players.
Yeah, big round of applause. Obviously, we've got all those players were kind of announced today.
Yeah. Presented to the fans.
They didn't quite come out and do kicky-uppies on the pitch like at Real Madrid, but it's a progress thing. So next season, Stoke, we'll go for the kicky-uppies in the middle of the pitch, please. Right. So that's that. They were playing anything. We just want to quickly mention the fan zone because we were going to try and get some stuff. It looks like it's still in progress. It looks like I think they've got some sort of launch event coming up pretty soon, but it's motored on massively since Sam and I were here. And it looks like it's going to be a really positive thing for Stoke City.
It looks very good. We've got a massive screen. Right. They've got all these porter cabin bars that look a bit temporary but could be made to look a little bit more permanent, I think, before it's finished.
Right, well, we'll see.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a really good asset to the club, and it'll be interesting to see how they use it as well as on match days for other events.
That's the question on my mind. How are Stoke going to use it on away days, for example? Are they going to show games on it, or are they just going to show highlights? Are they going to show interviews? What are they going to do with it? We haven't quite got that far. Maybe we'll find out more, in the upcoming weeks. It's supposed to be ready for the Coventry game.
Yep.
We shall see. We shall see. So the next thing I just want to touch on is pre-season friendlies. There's a match tomorrow versus AZ Alkmaar. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's call them AZ just in case it's not how you say it. Anyway, we're playing them tomorrow. They are, I would say, our toughest opposition on paper that we've played in pre-season.
100%.
We've so far played Bolton.
Yeah, Cork.
Stockport.
Cork.
Crewe. Crewe,
Chester.
and Chester.
Yeah.
I haven't played anybody else.
No.
And we've won 4 out of 5 games.
Yes.
You've watched all the games, bar the Bolton game.
Yeah.
The last game you watched was the Stockport game. I put out a message onto Facebook and asked the fans what they thought. We're going to get onto those messages in a second. Sam, what was your take? Does it matter? Does the Stockport game, losing 1-0 to Stockport, does it matter at all?
Now, if that's the only game we're going to lose, then I'm not really fussed. We haven't played very good opposition. Beating Crewe, I think they made that look a bit harder than they should have. But they didn't put the strong team out against Stockport from the start. So I think it was a bit of trial and error from Schumacher, what he was doing against Stockport. And I don't think it worked, but I'm not really bothered because I'd rather them mess up against Stockport than mess up against Coventry first game of the season.
Okay. Well, obviously, that's Sam's thoughts. Now, I asked the question on Facebook. I came out and did a little video, and I asked the fans to comment on them. So I asked fans, I said, look, we've lost this game against Stockport. Does that even matter? Your thoughts in general, do pre-season games matter, Sam, yes or no?
Pre-season games matter a lot, but I think they'd matter a lot more and be a little bit better, as I've said before, against better opposition.
Sorry, did you hear that, boy? Up the veil, apparently.
Yeah.
Say that again, Sam.
I think pre-season games are very important, but they need to be seen to be important, so they need to be against better opposition, personally. I've said it before.
Right. Well, this is what the fans had to say. So thank you for those who contributed to this. So let's start with Charlotte Hughes. I feel they don't matter as much as a season game, but people can't expect any team, not just Stoke, to win every game. Yeah, it would be nice. It's unrealistic. It's just about getting fitness and working out which players work well together. What do you think to that, Stoke fans? I mean, we'll talk about all the comments in a second. So thanks for that, Charlotte. So Scott Davis, pre-season about building up fitness, getting a relationship built between the squad. Positive results are a bonus and will boost the group. But a loss isn't a bad thing. It's how we respond. It's a great chance for players to put their name forward for the upcoming season. Regarding the next couple of games, we will likely see the starting 11, he thinks, for Coventry. Get them up to speed with a full 90 minutes and not just 45, 60 minutes. Let's do those 2 comments first. The comments that we just had there, all about building fitness.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I agree, yeah.
Do you not think that it's important that surely it's important that we win as many of the pre-season games as possible?
We have. I'd say we've won, 4 out of 5. That's not bad. Yeah, granted, we've been against poor opposition. It'd have been nice to get a clean sheet on all of them, but it's fitness at the end of the day. It is literally fitness. He's not been taking it. He's been putting different team out first half to second half, so he's clearly not bothered about the result. He just wants to get minutes on the players, behind the players, and get them playing.
It is a good opportunity, as Scott kind of mentioned there, to see how players work together. You notice we've been playing some of the young players. Tezgel, Nathan Lowe,
Dixon,
Sidibe, Dixon, like you've just mentioned.
Anderson at centre half.
So it is a good opportunity to see how they play. My biggest gripe is the same gripe that you have, is the quality of opposition, I'd say, potentially. If we're trying to get up to speed, is it good enough?
Well, it's funny you say that. Look at who Coventry have played pre-season.
Go on then, who have Coventry played?
So their last pre-season game is against Roma. It's Jules.
Oh, it's Jules. That was Jules. Ted and Jules. Say again.
So the last game that Coventry are going to be playing before Stoke is Roma.
Right.
Before that, they've got Werder Bremen.
Right.
They've just beat Everton 3-0.
Right. Okay.
And they started off with Getafe.
Right. Okay. So they're playing the high caliber teams in a way. Do you think that's going to make a difference, Stoke fans, when they come into their first game against us? They're playing all these top teams, and with all due respect, we're playing the likes of Cork City and Stockport
and Chester.
So
these Coventry players are going to be coming back from playing at these big grounds, these big teams.
Right.
And beating Everton 3-0, I'll say as well, who are a better team. And you could arguably say that Everton is a better opposition than them coming to here to play Stoke.
Yeah.
They're going to, if they can do that, then they're going to come into the Stoke game with more confidence, aren't they? Whereas Stoke are going to go into the game against Coventry, we've just hopefully beaten AZ Alkmaar, that'll be nice. but we've just beaten Crewe and Chester.
Right.
It's a little bit different, isn't it?
Couple more comments just to mention. Tom Bevan, seen a bit of negativity surrounding the result on social media. This is the loss. Fans have to understand that he's giving players minutes that also necessarily wouldn't start games in a strongest 11. Looks like we are still trying to do a bit of business in the transfer window. Need to put our trust in Shuey and Super Johnny Walters to get the team where we believe we should be. The final few games of last season showed that we do have some character. Get behind the lads this season. I'm sure we will do well. That's a positive outlook.
Positive.
I get what you're saying about the negativity.
Yeah.
Don't be negative. But equally at the same time, I don't like it when we lose.
No, and I don't like it when we lose to teams like Stockport.
And I don't like it when we lose to teams. I get it's pre-season. I get that maybe the team that we put out was kind of like a secondary team. It's interesting you're starting to see, I think, the players that are going to go into that first team for the season.
Definitely.
In pre-season. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, definitely.
That midfield, just to quickly talk about that midfield.
So remember, Pearson's not been able to play pre-season yet because of an injury, so we've got to remember he might be coming back towards, say, October, November time.
You've got Josh Laurent in
Yeah.
there. You've got Jordan Thompson.
Who hasn't played as much as the others.
Berger,
Yeah,
Baker,
yeah,
Sidibe,
yeah,
Daniel Johnson,
yeah.
and Pearson. Is there anybody else going into that central midfield area?
No, but I'll be surprised if Daniel Johnson stays.
Okay. Now, here's going to be the interesting thing for me. Stoke going to play with two central defensive midfielders, two players drop in, or is Stoke going to play with one central defensive midfielder and two pushing on?
It would make sense if we played with the two pushing on.
Let's talk about that in a second. Right, so final comment comes from Daz Davis. Pre-season is experimenting and getting players match fit, plus bedding in the new signings. I think there was a period where we lost most of the pre-season games and got promoted that season. The last thing players will do is give full intensity due to the risk of getting an injury. I think there's minority who overreacts. The season starts 10th of August. I'd be worrying if we are losing come the end of October. Thoughts on that comment? That's the final comment we've had, by the way.
Completely agree.
Do you?
Yeah.
So you think if people overreact if we lose to Stockport?
I think that a lot of people have slightly overreacted, but I do sort of get where they're coming from a little bit.
I think in any season, I always class, let's say, the first 10 games of a season as a little bit of a lottery anyway.
Yeah.
I think that you can go into it and you can win all those games and then go on a big losing streak or vice versa. But I still believe that he is now getting an idea of his first team, and the more we win in pre-season, the better.
Yeah.
So I really hope that tomorrow's game against AZ Alkmaar, I hope we come out and we play well and we put on a good show, finish strongly.
Yeah.
To move us into that Coventry game. Right, just to quickly go back to that midfield before we wrap up. Are we going to play with one central defensive midfielder and two centre mids kind of bombing on, or are we going to play with two central defensive midfielders, kind of how we played last time before, and then kind of one in front?
I'd like to see Juno involved in this central midfield mix as well at some point, because I think he needs to be sort of seen as a cam.
Okay.
Because if we're having Vidigal and Manu on the other wings, I think Juno in the middle of Vidigal and Manu could be a three that really works.
Be interesting to see. I'm wanting to see the striker play more as a false nine and drop back and receive the ball in that kind of number 10 position. That's what I want to see. So I'd be happier with having one central defensive midfielder and those two centre mids kind of moving forward.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. Stoke fans, let us know in the comments what you think to that. I think that's quite an interesting point. Maybe we'll find out. Well, we will find out, won't we?
We will.
When the season kicks off. Right, so there you go. There's another episode of Stoke Fan TV from outside the ground. Sorry it's been a bit noisy with the traffic, but we don't want to take the mick too much and film actually inside the Stoke car park, so that's why we came around here. And as I said, we've been joined by the statue of Gordon Banks. The final word from me, Sam. We put out a poll. We asked people if they like the new third kit.
Yeah.
It's growing on me. It's quite in your face.
Yeah, it would be better if the shorts matched.
Oh, do they not match?
The shorts don't match the top.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a look at it,
Finickety.
it's a different shade of pink. But yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll stand out. The players will be able to find each other on the pitch, won't they?
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so there you go. There's another episode of Stoke Fan TV. If you haven't liked the video, pause the video, like, subscribe to the channel, please. Keep the channel going, because we're going to try and bring you as much Stoke content as we can. We're moving forward into the new season. We've got Coventry, first game of the season. What are your predictions for that? How do you think we're going to get on? We'll hopefully be at that match, and we'll hopefully be walking around the stadium, and we'll come and get your opinion on that game, your opinion on various things. That's it from me.
And it's not it for me. Make sure you get onto the new EFL Fantasy Football Team League that we've set up as well. So if you haven't seen, there's a new EFL Fantasy Football division on the internet, and you can put a team up on there, and we've got a little leaderboard going on.
That's wicked. I didn't even know about that.
You know?
Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, so Sky have bought our EFL fantasy team. So it's basically the same as the fantasy football that was in the Premier League, but they bought out an EFL version, and you can have any player from Championship, League 1, League 2. They change it every time before the games, and we've got a little league going on. So we'll put some details on the page as well.
There you go. How about that? So there's another extra thing to get involved with. So that's it from me.
And that's now it for me.
And that's it from Sam as well. We'll see you soon.